Ramadan Kareem to everyone, and welcome to yet another workshop of our series of workshops on this semester. On today's workshop, Dr. Muhammad Hussein will share with us some tips on improving academic writing that we hope will be useful for advanced BA students and MA, as well as postgraduate students. Dr. Muhammad will particularly focus on improving writing on the sentence level using the correct terminology and applying peer review feedback to improve writing. Dr. Muhammad is a faculty member at the English Language Institution at King Abdulaziz University. He has a vast experience that spans over 3 decades as an educator, trainer, curriculum designer, mentor, and researcher. He published widely, and we wish him all the luck today. Mr. Muhammad, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Soha. Ramadan Kareem to everyone, whoever is around. And as the topic suggests, I'd love to talk a lot about this topic, academic writing. Now, when we think of academic writing, how you guys distinguish academic writing from the general writing? Can I have some input in the chat box? What distinguishes academic writing from the other writings as a genre, or and how do we need to invest a bit differently? How do we need to treat this genre per se in a specific manner? And can I have something in the chat box? What actually makes it different from, register? So you mean intended audience, maybe specific target? Yes, Khalid Umar, yeah, we need to use a lot of formal language, yes. We can't afford to have the liberty of using our day-to-day language. We need to yes, utilize, employ more of academic vocabulary, and had its particular structure, and it may sound to be a bit challenging for those who haven't delved deeper into the specific lexis that's required. Also, it depends upon the target audience. That usually we go for journal writing and book reviews, and there are so many kinds of academic writing where we have to be a bit more cautious about the lexis, the choice of words, the diction. And also we have some conventions, and it can be traditional ones, it can be not so traditional one. So academic writing is simple writing. Huda, it is simple if you get used to and if you develop the expertise of having very precise and effective writing. So let's have a look. This is not an exhaustive list of all the kinds of writing that we are talking about today, but more or less these are the major categories or major chunks of academic writing. Abstract, obviously, we need to learn to be able to use academic writing for abstract writing, because all the graduate students, postgraduate students, they're supposed to write abstract for the research proposals, for the whether it's leading to a dissertation and post-graduation or it's award of the PhD. So abstract. Then we have annotated bibliography, where we have to be careful about what to begin with, the name of the author, then the contribution, and then the year of the publication and all that. But mostly academic journal articles, and mostly we are supposed to write articles. And writing articles, depending upon the areas, like social studies, or it could be English language teaching or scientific journals. And so, and then we have book report, we have conference paper. Conference papers, obviously we begin with abstract, and as I mentioned, the dissertation is one of the key areas where our graduate students, postgraduate students are supposed to try their luck or try their hands at coming up with really what was called, a standard academic writing. Essay could be of different kinds, of like discursive or argumentative or simply explications. Then we have literary criticism, then we have research papers, and we have research proposals. And so these are some of the areas where we are supposed to try our hands with academic writing. Now, what's the process that gets involved in academic writing? Obviously, you need to know your topic. The topic could be a research gap. It could be just as I mentioned in the essay writing. Could be dissertation in particular scientific area. It could be your own reflections, research reflection, reflective research, action research. So this is ideally it's an ongoing cycle. I should not say it's a vicious cycle. We need to read and research, but it gets a vicious cycle over the years, because you need to know the topic, then we start reading, and obviously literature review, literature reading, and doing the researches. Then we need to have an outline and plan. Now, what ways outline helps us? Any input in the chat box? What do we get from the outline? Why do we need an outline? Do we really need an outline? And what best describes an outline? Is it the part of the whole or the whole of the part? Yes, so it could be as simple as brainstorming, gathering the ideas, also graphic design, or that helps us to eliminate the unnecessary things. Yes, could be subheadings, could be the guide to it's a roadmap, a kind of sketchy broad guidelines for how to go about so obviously, yes, organized structure helps us to include as much as possible within the framework. If you don't have an outline, we don't plan to succeed, we plan to fail actually. So, but it doesn't always, very effective, in the sense that every outline is not an ultimate outline. There is something we call reverse outline. Any idea about what is reverse outline? Anyone out there? When it comes to outline, we can have reverse outline. It's supposed to be, like if you read an article or any kind of dissertation already published, what you do, you parse it, recalibrate it, and after finishing the writing, reverse outline is like, instead of starting from introduction to then moving on to uh, ideas, supporting ideas, and as we always plan our writing. Then we move on to para 2, the para 3, where we have more of the general ideas, supporting ideas, and we have conclusion and all that. Now, when we do reverse outline, we do the exactly opposite. We go to the conclusion part, and then we get back to, instead of creating outline before writing, yes, you analyze your draft to identify the structure. Yeah, it's like looking at others' drafts and other people's creative work of art or kind of article, and we get to know the plan of the writer, how he could have achieved this ultimate composition, starting from introduction to so it's the other way around. So outline helps us to, no doubt, and I have lots of graphic design, graphic displays here. Then we start writing, and then we, of course, the review and edit helps us a lot, because if we don't have a relook our own writing, we really don't know what has gone into the making of that paragraph and first draft. So multiple drafts really helps us in getting to know whether we are right on the track, whether we can substitute the things, whether you can have a better academic vocabulary, we can have hedging, we can have the substitutions, I mean ornamental language, when we effective, precise, and ornamental language that we need to sometimes know how to. Now there's a lot of buzz about these days, and I can't shy away from not talking about the AI application, whether it's online tools and whether it's traditional tools like. So as far as learners concerned, we can have some classroom AI rules about having permission to use an AI on the assignment, or the link to the AI conversation. These are general broad guidelines, because these days most of the tools which are available are right, and we have been using them, Mendeley and Zotero and all that. Without that, we cannot have biblical and annotations, and because it saves us a lot. Most of the heavy load can be lifted from these online tools, and the thing is, we have to do it ethically, and we have to employ it to groom us, or spruce up our writing ability, instead of total depending on. So of course productive struggle is a part of the learning. I mean, it's not like it's all plagiarism. Productive struggle is part of learning. Honest learning honestly works, so if we are responsible and we cater to the dire needs of our framework and structures and the basic rudimentaries, we can have some of the biases and errors, but still we can employ. And I'm going to talk a lot about what are those AI tools which can be harnessed, which can be employed, and which can be now what is the purpose of the writing? When we think of the purpose, what actually yes of course we cannot do away, or we cannot simply brush aside, or that gone, like it's immoral to employ some of those online tools and all that, because they are ready help, assistant, and it comes handy, and it really takes away lots of our struggle, and the struggle is pointless. And so what do we actually why do we write, and what is the general purpose? It could be to inform, or to persuade, or entertain. What is this chat for? Courses, and I don't get it. Like, does it have to do something with me? General purpose, to inform, persuade, or entertain. So, oh, it's an ad. All right. Anyway, just ignore it if it's an ad for whatever. Anyway, specific purpose. Now, general purpose, of course, all of us do write for general writing, and my academy writing. we need to address subjects for specific purposes. Now, as I told you that we write for journals, we write for research, we write for, sometimes we write for argumentations, sometimes we write for persuasion. Persuasion is to convince the readers that whatever point of view you are holding, it holds a lot of value and it has to be accepted. So we need supporting data to convince the reader. Now, what could be the supporting data other than scientific journals and all? I mean, when it comes to ELT writing, now what are the supporting data? We don't have any data. We don't go by algorithm. We only go by our own lexicography, our own ways of narration, our own ways of description, whether they're powerful adjectives, descriptive words. We go for exposition to explain clarity or something. So our tools and our I'll say the data will be our heightened lexis, substitutional. I mean, we can always substitute one word for the other. We can always go for structure which are more of academic and than general in nature. For example, active voice and passive voice. Now, what do you think of using active voice and passive voice for our research articles, journal articles? Active voice is to be preferred, or has to be all active voice throughout, or we need to vary them? Both would be fantastic. Yes, Rida. Actually, we need to go for finest combination of both active voice throughout. Will make it dull, will make it really dull. Also, if we use all passive, it's going to make it dull even more of like hackneyed and repetitive. So it's better to have a fine combination of both. Like when we think of combination of both would be fantastic, because in scientific journals, especially for scientific journals, I'm talking about where we don't need to know who is saying it. It's not about who is saying it. It's all about what is being said. That's more important than who is saying it. So description, narration, telling the story, using both a good combination of active and passive voices, and we can have visuals as for the outlay or graphic design is concerned. Actually, I was having this napkin AI. This is an AI napkin. It gives a brilliant visual instantaneously. I don't know. It might take a few minutes. Like look at this. Writing smarter secrets to boost your academic writing skills. Now, if I want to have understand the audience, now let's say how it works and how it gives us instantaneous. For example, let's say this. I hope you are seeing this, right? It's visible to everyone, and this is how for making mind map, of course, yes. And this is really brilliant. Like why? Even when we submit our writing journaling or writing, and this gives us a lot of leverage. It's a reflective piece of. So expertise level, reader expectations, audience understanding and interest, aligning content with reader passions. Now, some readers are really passionate about, they want us to work on, so this instantly, it gives us the, oh no, I have lost it. Oh my God.
Reconnecting.
No, no issues.
You're here.
I accidentally closed the window, and
All right.
that window was our Blackboard window. Anyway, now I'm back to the screen now. So I need to share the stuff once again. Now share. I'm going to share. Now you can see. Let me start from the beginning. Okay. Writing smarter, secrets to boosting academic writing skills. Now, how do we really employ AI tools? And now I'm going to talk a lot about AI tools being, and I want you to read through these descriptions of the AI tools that are widely and prevalent, and everybody is onto it. Now, we'll explore how AI tools can enhance our academic writing. Not only it helps with grammar, obviously, Grammarly is everyone's baby now. It also helps us with the style and citations. Then we have how many of you have used AI writing tools before? Can we use them in our professional assignments? Why not? As long as we give credit, the due credit, also cite, also let's say we follow the guidelines of our institutional guidelines, and every institution has come up with their own guidelines now. I mean, it's no brainer not to and avoid completely. It's no more a taboo, I guess. And world over, every institution they are employing, and because they are very effective tools, we can't do without them. In fact, we can't do without them. So how many of you have used AI writing tools before? And could you please mention some of the tools that are being used by you guys in general, like Quillbot? Yeah, of course, I was going to talk about that. The next, Quillbot it checks your grammar, it checks your syntactical errors, at least gives an overview of, yes, paraphrasing, plagiarism checker, turn it in. I mean, we can also get to see whether, what we are doing is humanized AI. Look, the plethora of, there's a whole host of AI tools being used by. Gamma is not for, that's for presentation. NTH, whoever is, Gamma is not for any of this, Gamma is for presentation tool, as I know. Grammarly, of course, yes, Grammarly, of course, we need to know. Now, the rise of AI in academia is transforming various aspects of academic work, like writing assistance is one of the most popular applications. Now, what you mention here, all about, they're all writing assistants, in fact. But what extent they are reliable, to what extent we can leverage, employ them in our daily write-ups, graduate students or postgraduate students or strugglers or those who have writing blocks, and how it helps us overcome the writing blocks, And we can have a free writing exercises, and AI tools can help at every stage of the writing process. Now, can you think of some of the stages of writing? Okay. Can you give me some of the stages of writing? Your device should open microphone. Guys, can you give me the stages of the writing? Right from the scratch. How do we start writing? Whether it's a free writing, free, like we talked about mind mapping, we talk about brainstorming, we talk about, yes, brainstorming. But do you think that we really, our writing starts from brainstorming? Is there something that happens even before brainstorming? Introduction, then main body, then conclusion. Yeah, of course, Now, what I was talking about, that when we think of brainstorming, we think of the graphic display and all that. In fact, even before we pen down or start scratching on the piece of paper, lots has already happened in our brain in the background of that, because we have an audience, we have a purpose, we have the intended outcome to be thought of, and then we scribble on the paper. What we scribble on the paper actually had already gone into your inner psyche. Inner psyche means good writers, they always they have the subconscious level, conscious, subconscious. I don't need to discuss those inner sanctorium of the writers, and that's how we have writing blocks and all that. But for general writing, of course, we need to scribble on paper, we plan, we organize, then we again plan. I mean, we plan and then we replan, and when we and then we scribble the first draft. So when we what concerns might you have about using AI in academic writing? Can I have some of the concern, like someone just pointed out that are we allowed to? That means the fear that there could be punitive measures and we can be reprimanded, it can be a taboo, we can be held responsible for resorting to plagiarism. Now, what are your concerns in plagiarism issues? Yes. Now, I have heard so much about plagiarism issues for the last 1 year that, okay, obviously, reading a lot, having a general concept, and brainstorming, organizing thought, and writing the first draft. Yeah, well said. It is quite. It sums up a lot of things, Meera. Yeah, this is a project student. Yeah, obviously, we need to, when I think of, so the concern is plagiarism. Now, how can we, instead of resorting to plagiarism, how can we leverage this highly potential AI tools? Obviously, the first draft. Now, which stage of our writing can we employ this without resorting to plagiarism? And even if we do plagiarize for the first draft and second draft, the final product will be your own. There are no tools that will give you a ready composition with the intended outcome that you are thinking of. So the concerns can be legitimate to the extent, but there are so many other areas where we can really harness the potential. So pro-writing aid tools, Now, pro-writing aid tools, robust plagiarism checking, in fact, is the other way around. It checks for the plagiarism also, and it also helps in proofreading. It improves our clarity and engagement in writing, offers over 10 rephrases daily for language varieties. Now, when we think of rephrasing, substitutions, and synonyms, antonyms, we go for literary devices that makes our writing really academic. In fact, we have a ready reckoner of some of the, we call it bank, a repository. Now, if you have a bank where you need to readily access to these banks and scientific journal writings, and so rephrasing really helps improving a lot. And everyone will. Someone already mentioned about Quillbot. Now, what does this offer us? It rewrites, adjusts text tone for clarity. Now, how many times can we adjust our writing, and do we have the patience for that? Can we have the patience for writing and writing and writing and scribbling? And then, now, if you come up with 3-4 model write-ups, and then you compare your writing and you see the lacuna, the kind of like the things which are lacking in, And the way you can paraphrase modes, and you can also use the built-in thesaurus. So you don't have to Google it, you don't have to open your dictionary, you don't have to look for and groping and grappling with the issue of having the substitution words. So we can have a thesaurus that's inbuilt in it, and it's really on a device. So it integrates with Chrome and Microsoft Word so beautifully. And in what situations might paraphrasing be useful in work? Can you give me an example where paraphrasing helps us? Yeah, of course, we need some cautions. Of course, we cannot blindfoldly follow the AI tool. As I told you, that AI tools are not genies, and they don't have any ready-made solutions for them. As far as as an assistant, they are replacing the writers. They are substituting the tasks that we have to undergo. The kind of now, in what situations might paraphrasing be useful in your work? Can I have something? In what situation paraphrasing helps us? Supposedly, we are talking about some of the concepts which are really not when we quote the quotes of others. Yes, we need to rephrase sometimes, but sometimes we quote exactly as it is. But if you want to add your own perspective or perception towards and comment or a post, you can have a rephrasing, paraphrasing, also to make it simpler, more understandable. Yes, especially the concepts which are not easily comprehensible or cannot be made to understand, or very vague, or concepts of, there are certain philosophy, especially in philosophy, there are so many concepts which are really hard to. So paraphrasing really helps us in, yes, in those situations. And actually, most of the time when we talk of things to explain or we describe, actually what we are doing paraphrasing. We are making simpler, we are saying in a different words. Also, we say, to tell you the truth, to tell you the facts in other words. We can also sum up like this: what I mean. When I say what I mean, yes, AI tools are rephrase in general. They don't use the technical words related to our subjects. You can look for the technical words. What the word depends upon what kind of prompts you are giving. How you, as I told you, that you can leverage your expertise, your own writing abilities to coax and comb and also to tease the AI tools. Actually, AI tools are great things for those people who can employ them for their best purposes. Those who don't have any background of writing, it's like useless. It's not a loaded gun. So the loaded gun is for those who know how to fire. So obviously paraphrasing, it helps us a lot, and we need to utilize this paraphrasing. Now there is one Lumen writer tailored for academia. Now this is for academic writing. I will just suggest you to use them. This generates content, organize ideas logically, the logical fallacy, a logical explanation. Sometimes we are at a loss. We don't know really which paragraph should go what. How we alternate